Pacific, Missouri is located along Old Route 66, 35 miles southwest of downtown St. Louis. I begin the video on Interstate 44, which parallels the old routing of historic US 66 throughout the entire state of Missouri. Pacific's slogan is the gateway to the Ozarks, as it's on the far northeastern fringes of the region. The Ozarks span for 47,000 square miles through 4 different states, those being Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and even Kansas. It's the largest highlands region between the Rockies and the Appalachians. It's a beautiful area, but it's also full of poverty, and historically a good portion of the Ozarks has relied on mining, but we can get into that later with other videos whenever I'm able to explore cities and towns within the heart of the Ozarks. Pacific, Missouri is about 1,600 miles east of the Pacific Ocean, so the town definitely isn't named after that. Glad I could help clear up that confusion. Even though Pacific is a part of the St. Louis metro area, it has a small town feel to it. In fact, a small portion of the city limits stretches inside of St. Louis County. A big reason for that is because back in 2004, the city of Pacific was able to annex the Missouri Eastern Correctional Center after a legal battle with the neighboring city of Eureka. Kind of funny if you ask me why both cities wanted the prison so bad, and also funny that Pacific was able to win as pretty much the entire town lies within Franklin County, whereas the prison is in St. Louis County, just like Eureka is. Pacific's history with modern-day settlers dates back to 1820 when the first log cabin was built here. Originally, this place was called Franklin. In 1852, the Pacific Railroad Company laid out the town, and during the same year, the first train made it out here from St. Louis. And with the railroad making the town easier to access, Franklin was able to grow, also because of its close proximity to St. Louis. And in 1859, the town's name changed from Franklin to Pacific, and that's because the Pacific Railroad Company basically built the entire town. In 1864, Pacific was attacked during the Civil War by General Sterling Price of the Confederate Army. The rat bastard destroyed the entire town, as it's documented that the bridges, depot, ice house, and railroad supply houses were left in ashes. The town was able to rebuild, however, and in the 1870s, silica mining began in the Sandstone cliffs just north of town. Today, that spot is a city park that overlooks town, and we'll visit it at the end of the video. Anyway, silica is one of the more common minerals found in the Earth's crust, and it's used to make many things, such as glass, pottery, ceramics, bricks, concrete, and artificial stone, among other things. You can also find it in sand. With that said, mining continues to be a part of the local economy through several different companies, including the U.S. Silica Company, and you have several quarries in the area as well. To the right, we just passed by Pacific High School, home of the Indians, in which Niche.com rates as a B-, so not a terrible rating, but could be better. Moving along in the almighty history timeline of Pacific, Missouri is that US Route 66 was constructed through town in 1932. This helped new businesses form rapidly as automobile traffic was increased. One of the first businesses was the Red Cedar Inn, located on the far east side of town off of the old Route 66. The Red Cedar Inn was built in 1934 and was in operation all the way until 1972, before the Smith family reopened it in 1987 to keep the US Route 66 tradition alive. In 2003, the building was placed on the National Register of Historic Places. However, it closed for good in 2005. The city of Pacific purchased the building in 2017, and they plan on making it a welcome center and a museum, so that's all good and dandy. Currently, we're just cruising through the residential parts of town, no big deal. It all seems okay. Nothing spectacular, but nothing terrible. You know, if you wanted to drive a brand new Cadillac Escalade with giant chrome rims and you wanted to jam out some music and put the bass on high, you'd be a real G around here. Yeah, okay, well, moving on now. Anyway, in 1965, I-44 was completed through the area, which ended up encouraging the decommissioning of the famous Route 66. and it's well documented that in a lot of cases, business in Route 66 towns declined after the construction of interstate highways, since many of the towns relied on automobile traffic for exposure for their businesses. However, Pacific actually benefited from the new interstate, as now it's only a 30-minute or so drive from downtown St. Louis, and ever since the completion of I-44, Pacific has seen continuous suburban-like growth. Today, Pacific is home to just over 7,000 people, and the median household income is $47,000 per year. 19% of adults 25 and older hold a bachelor's degree or higher, and the median value of owner-occupied housing units is $196,000, while the poverty rate is 6%. You can see that the stats for the county as a whole are similar, with only a higher median household income. When it comes to the crime rates, Pacific fares pretty well, seeing lower than average rates in both violent and property crime. Niche.com rates the schools as B-, so those could be better, but it's not the worst. Area Vibes, however, doesn't think too highly of Pacific, as it gives the town a livability score of 66 out of 100, recording low scores in amenities, employment, housing, and schools. An anonymous current resident from 7 months ago seems to write a pretty fair review of the town, I would say, by stating that it's a safe and quiet town with not much to do and not much to offer when it comes to restaurants. And, it did seem like there wasn't much outside of fast food joints when I came through, so that's something that would bother me too if I lived here, because with me being a food snob, I tend to avoid the McDonald's, Burger Kings, KFCs, and Wendy's of the world. I prefer the Panera Breads of the world, which, by the way, Panera Bread started in St. Louis, and around here it's known as the St. Louis Bread Company, but I prefer Qdoba, Jimmy John's, something that can give me more of a nutritional value. And after a quick Google search, I probably wouldn't be getting off of I-44 at the Pacific exit, even if I were a hobo that hasn't ate in 2 days. I'd have to be really desperate. Well, now we're going to be heading towards the bustling downtown area of Pacific, but some other things to know about town is that it's located off of a semi-large river, that being the Merrimack River, which means that there will often be a risk of flash flooding, so if you're going to buy a home in the area, make sure that you do your due diligence and not buy a home in a flood zone around here. One of the more recent floods was back in the spring of 2017, where more than 10 inches of rain fell in the St. Louis area, and you can bet on that happening plenty of times in the future. The flooding along the almighty Merrimack River in 2017 flooded portions of I-44 and I-55, along with causing damage to many homes and businesses. Before the rain fell, officials told residents to pick the side of the river that they wanted to hang out at because they expected the river flooding to close bridges and cause major damage. By the way, some say that the name of the Merrimack River is from an Algonquin word that means catfish, while others say that it means ugly fish, while others say that it means the river of death. Some more things to know about Pacific is that the Iron Horse Rodeo is held here in late September every year, which gives all of the local pickup truck driving, Mountain Dew drinking hilljacks something to look forward to. Pacific also holds some other events throughout the year, including Sunset on the Rails, where they play some good old boy country music in June to kick off the summer. Lastly, there's a car show at the end of June, which is one of the bigger car shows in all of Missouri. So if you like going to local festivals, then Pacific is the place to be in the spring and summer. And by the way, how about this? If you're one of the Hilljacks that have been to one of those festivals and you've had good experiences, bad experience, whatever the case may be, why not let us know about it in the comment section below? And straight ahead, you can see downtown Pacific, Missouri. Well, here's a sound that literally everyone from the Midwest is familiar with. Right in front of a model train display museum, eh? How fitting. Well, straight ahead was another block that featured some interesting old town, downtown looking buildings, but unfortunately I didn't head through there, so my bad. But now we're going to head towards the bluffs that are just north of the downtown area that I was talking about earlier in the video, where they originally mined silica. So to the right, you can see the Sandstone cliffs where the silica was originally mined. Today there are caverns left over from the mining, and it's blocked off to the public. You can, however, access the top of the cliff through some neighborhood streets. and on top of it is a park with an Instagrammable cannon in memory of the Battle of Pacific, which again was in 1864 when the Confederates came through and ripped apart the town. It's definitely a landmark that you'll want to see if you ever do a Route 66 road trip. It's a nice park and it's a unique one, as most towns don't have a bluff that overlooks their city. Well, I thought that Pacific was an okay town overall. Nothing terrible, but honestly, I thought that it lacked in certain amenities, with it being right off of an interstate highway and seeing suburban-like growth. Franklin County as a whole is home to 100,000 people, and St. Louis County, just east of here, is home to 1 million people, so I'm sure that Pacific could support a better selection of amenities, whether it's eating establishments or entertainment options. Anyway, the surrounding scenery, especially in the fall, is fantastic, and the town has more history to brag about than many other towns of its size do. With that said, I do end the video here, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, as doing all of those things helps these videos destroy the evil monster that is the YouTube algorithm. Also make sure to hit that notification bell so that you can be notified every time that I upload a new video. If you enjoyed this video, then you might enjoy checking out some of the featured playlists on this channel. Videos with amazing insights on other places like what you saw here can be found in my Missouri playlist or in my St. Louis Suburbs playlist. Last but not least, if you can't get enough of me on here, you can always go follow me on my other social media accounts, and those links are below. We'll see you next time. Peace.